And welcome to Matt's Mic. And today we'll be discussing about sustainable businesses, specifically Nike. So, a little bit about Nike. Nike is an American multinational manufacturing, distributing, and marketing company based out of Beaverton, Oregon, specifically specializing in the sales of apparel, footwear, accessories, equipment, and services. Nike, being one of the biggest producer and manufacturers in their specializations, is valued at more than 19 billion US dollars, making them the most value branded sports businesses in the world today. For today's topic, we'll be discussing about the company's sustainable goals through the help of DeBono's 6 Thinking Hats. And you may think, what is DeBono's 6 Thinking Hats? Well, DeBono's 6 Thinking Hat is a way of investigating an issue from a variety of perspectives, but in a clear and conflict-free way. Kicking it off with a blue hat, just defining the actual problem, finding the goals and the desired outcomes for their solution. So Nike is following the Sustainable Development Goals, and their top 4 critical and most crucial ones are Sustainable Development Goal number 3, 5, 12, and 13. And for the specific podcast, I'm going to be taking out Sustainable Development Goal number 3, good health and well-being, but specifically active kids. So the best way Nike is defining this issue is, kind of discussing about the times that we are currently in right now. So as technology advances, kids aren't going out as much. For example, kids are given iPhones, so they're staying inside and using their iPhones more or playing video games a lot more. And especially times with COVID, kids are really exposed as much as they were used to with amongst one another. So Nike's goals is to constantly inspire and support the communities around them to get them moving into a healthier and happier lifestyle. And by achieving this, they want to do this by starting in the communities with the younger generation. So their outcome and solution is by generating good health and well-being. And they do this by starting a foundation called Made to Play. And the Nike's Made to Play is to help children around the world by getting active and engaging them in physical activities. And their famous quote is, "Kids who move the world." Next, we have the white hat. And the white hat is just discussing about the facts, the data, the other information that we have on hand, and also the unknown facts and other information that we don't have on hand, and then just putting it all together and just finding what other information that we are missing. So the known facts that we know, that is Nike is a well-rounded company that is always striving to help improve their community and the environment and just everything around them. So we know that Nike is known as an active apparel company impacting the community as a criterion that they embedded into themselves. So we also know that they have created a foundation and movement called Nike Made to Play to help achieve this goal. But the unknown facts is kind of how well is this working out for other communities. And what I mean by other communities, like just communities that are either more developed versus not as developed. Just seeing what activities that Nike is offering to different nations and different communities, how much funding that they're providing to each, and really how much this is affecting the communities and the general public. So those are kind of the informations that they kind of left out to leave us wondering. And just having those additional information would really just help, find the needed information to reach our solution. Next, we have the green hat, just kind of envisioning a creative and alternative way to Nike's implementation that they currently have, or just giving a recommendation of what could be done in a different way. So I really love how Nike is striving to give back to the community and help in a meaningful way, especially helping the younger generation get out there, get a healthy mindset, and just get active in general. Because just being active and being healthy just promotes a amazing well-being. So I would say another thing that Nike could also implement in just to create a stronger foundation for themselves would to also be creating physical facilities. So not only they go into communities and help kids become active by giving them sports equipment, Nike apparels, but also maybe creating a sports facility like a physical center such as like a gym, and creating and placing weights or tracks or swimming pools, just to get that feel of Nike when they can't be always there to help the community, but the facilities and their physical attachments can be there for the communities for them to be used. The yellow hat. What is the best way to approach this issue, and what is a realistic way to make things work? So I think the best way that Nike should take on this issue for communities that aren't as either developed or as active or as having a healthy lifestyle is just physically going out and helping these communities out, because that is the best way. I think the best way to an approaching an issue is actually going out and doing it. And like what I said for the previous green hat before, a reasonable and realistic way to make things work is physically going out and helping the community hands on. The black hat. So when thinking about the black hat, we want to identify the negative outcomes or the weakly supported plans that Nike is trying to implement. And Nike is trying to definitely implement a good plan and construct a good model for kids getting more active and creating a healthier and stable lifestyle for these communities, and especially for these younger generation communities. But the only major drawback and odds of failure that I can think of that comes to mind is if Nike was to implement on constructing a facility for the communities and younger generation to use, this could maybe have a little drawback for the communities, just because in placing a big facility for physical activity could just cause maybe possibly deforestation for placing a big facility like that, and maybe just an influx of people and traffic and carbon emission for people to come that would need such physical facility. And to end things off with the red hat, kind of the awareness and evaluation of feelings and my initial reaction to Nike's implementation and decision for making their choice. So when I hear Nike was going to implement and support their surrounding communities and the general environment to get them moving into a healthier and happier lifestyle, I was so happy and proud of them. Just because for me, myself, I love to be physically active, and I think it helps my mental state, and it just makes me feel better overall. And I 100% agree and back up Nike's implementation of creating and generating good health and well-being to their surrounding communities. So overall, it just makes me very happy, and I would hope this would make everyone that is impacted by Nike very, very happy as well.